Hey, good morning, good morning, good morning. Super truckers, how you doing? We're gonna get started right here, guys. Give me 1 second. Here we go. Looking to get started. All right, guys. My name is Christian Martinez. I'm actually with running the program here for this Super Trucker Podcast Live. Today's topic is low barrier to entry for an owner operator to get started. We're going to give it a few minutes, let a couple people join the live. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe actually as well, and share this with a trucker you may know or someone who's thinking about becoming an owner operator, because this is valuable information for them in order to get that done and get it done accurately. All right, so as we give an opportunity for people to gather here, go a little bit over what we're doing is putting good information in front of good people. So what this does is time and time again, we have seen where some owner operators are first-time owner operators looking to get started and break into the industry. And quite frankly, they did a little bit too much. And the problem with doing a little bit too much to get started, they got in over their head and they could have leveraged some things and actually had an easier start by just leveraging some of the responsibilities to a carrier by leasing on and just a couple different options of what you can do. So that's going to be today's topic. All right, let me see here. Let me just make sure I get prepped up here. All right. Just waiting on a few other people to join and we will get started on that. So, all right, make sure you like, share, follow. Please drop questions in the chat. We will get to the questions at the end of the live podcast. And the reason for that is because as we move along, we actually might answer a lot of those questions during the actual presentation, and that's going to be a lot more efficient for a lot of the guys. All right, guys, but remember, we got to encourage and we have to comment and ask questions so that everybody can learn from each other and hopefully help everybody out. All right, so here we go. Just give it a few minutes. Look at that, I got a comment. Lowered my camera already, Mike. Thanks for that. Where are you from, Mike? All right. Give it a few more minutes to get started. So remember our topics, the topics that we cover on this podcast and the YouTube channel. So for those guys who are just happen to scroll by and see us on live or anything, make sure that you actually go check out the Super Trucker Podcast channel on YouTube. Tons of information there, a bunch of videos that is actually helpful to anybody that's in this industry. What we do is we gather a lot of information through the comments and so forth, and that's how we actually pick what's going to be important to you guys, because we're listening to the feedback. And even on the recruiting side, it's you see everything. Like you see a bunch of guys that actually just in the recent few weeks did so much to open his own authority and all of that, but then ran into so many roadblocks that the show was over before it even got started. And had he come across information of like what we're dropping, he'd be in a better place. So that's what that's what the program's about. That's what the intent is. And again, it's all based on you guys communicating with us and letting us know what topics are going to be useful for you, and we'll do the show on that. So it's pretty much that easy. All right, Mike, Mulberry, capital of America's trucking. There we go. That's right. This is the mecca of trucking, guys. So in case you didn't know, now you do. All right. And as we wait, guys, make sure you smash like, share this out with trucking groups. Share this. Make sure you subscribe. Type your questions now, and please don't forget we're going to get to every single one of them towards the end of the program. All right. And remember, if you're ready to make a move and you need a haul source, we're here. We're here to help out. just give us a call at 863-342-5171. As soon as the show's over, I could personally take that phone call. Just give me a minute once the sun winds, and I'll be by the phone, and I can answer detailed information and even help you get started with us and show you how easy it is to do that and join the team. All right, and start making some real money. How about that? All right, here we go. All right, just giving that opportunity for people to join. All right. So again, this for those that are just chiming in, this one here, this live is actually going to be about, and it's intended for those guys that are on the fence or just about to begin the process, how to actually get started, and how to get started as an owner operator, and sometimes not understanding a few things as far as the insurance goes. We're going to cover all of that good stuff. We're going to cover the benefits of possibly running under someone else's insurance in the beginning. We're going to actually cover plates, cover permits, all of that good stuff, even audits, getting your first year DOT audit. Are you ready for that? Or should you leverage that to somebody else in the beginning? So I'm not trying to give away too much now, just so we run it in order, but it gives you a good idea. There might be some things that you never even thought of, and now you can consider it and before you actually jump into it and get started. So it gives you a better way to plan yourself and your approach. And hopefully that works for you. And maybe I save you some money by giving you some information today that keeps you from making a wrong decision that'll cost you money. All right. All right. Let's give it a few more minutes and we're good to go and get the party started. Sorry, here we go. Sam Motors, good morning. How are you today? All right, Sam Motors. If you have any questions, Sam, make sure you put them in the comments there, and I will address it towards the end of the show. So make sure you do that. We got David. Welcome, David. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good morning to you as well. Keep trucking. Happy trucking. Let's go. Hopefully, we all get to learn something from each other, and we can also pass this information along to other people you may know in the industry, that it will serve them, and hopefully do some good. Sam, the topic of today is actually the low barrier to entry to get started as an owner operator. As I mentioned before, a lot of guys either do too much in the beginning to get started, and then it becomes problematic and never end up getting started. And other people sometimes think it's a lot more and don't know about their different choices that they can do and how to structure it and actually come out on top and actually win. So that's what we're covering today. All right. So we're going to get started. And again, guys, this is for that first-time owner operator, and even sometimes seasoned owner operators who are running their own authority sometimes have to readjust and leverage some carriers and lease on in order to get the benefit and shifting some liabilities. Okay. So we're going to break this down into into several topics. So the first thing that we're going to talk about for an owner operator looking to get started, it's going to be the insurance. All right, guys. So if you're planning to do it on your own, and this is going to be your first truck, again, we're in Mulberry, the mecca of trucking. So this is Florida. Your insurance is going to be pretty expensive. So one of the things that you should start doing is getting that quote. Most guys leave that for the end after they purchase the truck, after they've invested some money into getting that truck roadworthy and then they fall out of their chair when they get that quote for 30,000. So what you can do, though, the show's not over. What you can do is actually, before you do it all on your own, is lease onto a carrier. So for example, like Voyager. So what you're going to be doing there is the part of the insurance that you're going to be running under that carrier is going to be the big boy insurance, right? The most costly one. You got the cargo and the liability insurance, right? So that is what you're leveraging to that individual, because that way you are now under that policy, and the only thing that you would be responsible for any after that would be your bobtail insurance, which is like, what, guys, like $50 a month or something like that. So that's not a big deal. um and your physical damage. So if that truck has a lien on it, you're going to be, they're going to require what kind of limits you have, a lien holder and so forth. They will require that. That is their requirement, not so much the carrier. The carrier probably is only going to make require that bobtail insurance. All right. So as you're considering that, you actually just took an expense of possibly $1,800 to $2,000 a month down to probably in the threes, $300, something like that. You would be paying for your physical damage and bobtail. And again, that will depend on the value of your truck, guys. So when you're doing that, you will have a couple options. Carriers do offer insurance on the physical damage and bobtail. You can get it through their program. They deduct it through your settlement, but that is not necessarily in your favor. Can it be a little bit cheaper? Yeah, maybe. But you also have to consider that it's if you leave, you're leaving your policy there. You can't take that policy with you. So just because it deducts it from your settlement check, it is convenient. However, I feel that you could be a little bit stronger than that as an owner operator. I do feel that you should have your own insurance policy in case you have to make a move. You're not canceling and then starting again. You're always insured. Even if that carrier went down, let's just say that happened. Now, what do? You find yourself shopping again. So I really feel that what you could do is get some quotes. A lot of first time guys are going to go to that Progressive. You're going to pay for that, but Progressive, there's other key players. We actually offer, you can call True North, OIDA. There's a bunch of guys. We even have contact. If you guys just put it in the comments there, we can send you the name of a local insurance agent who can shop around for you and get that. Remember, you don't have to accept that insurance, guys. It's not about that. It's about getting options in front of you. So as a business owner, you want to have the options in front of you so you have choices. The last thing you want to do is not have choices. So again, don't fall in love with the idea that the only thing that because they deduct it from you and they make it easy, it doesn't necessarily mean it's better, guys. So you want to consider that, right? So again, we're talking about that physical damage portion, and we're talking about the bobtail portion. All right. And so now the big boy insurance, that cargo and liability, just so the way we do it, it's part of the package deal. There's no additional deduction for that. Some other carriers will charge you for that insurance and they'll deduct it from your settlement. Again, you got to pick what's best for you. Transparency is always king. So as you're doing that, make sure you're getting that transparency delivered to you so you actually understand what your cost will be and it's not fluctuating. You want to be able to ask, if they do have you paying that insurance, what happens if you don't run? Are you still paying for that? Is it on hold? All these kind of questions you want to be able to ask. And again, this is an alternative to you actually getting started and asking for and getting started with your own insurance, doing the down payment and even possibly financing all that. And now you have an additional cost of $2,000 along with the truck. All right, guys. So the next step is going to be individuals that are looking to get their plates. Here's what happens with the plates. Um, First, especially in Florida, guys, when a guy is buying a truck, even if he bought it, from an individual, a lot of times what's going on is they go down to the DMV and they're doing the title transfer, which is you could pretty much do that anywhere. but then they actually get convinced to buy that local plate when the guy doesn't have intention of even being an intra driver, and now he's dropping $600. So the guy behind the counter doesn't really understand IRP. He doesn't really understand that you're not going to be running local. He just thinks he's doing his job. So I'm here to save you money on that before you make that mistake. um, One of the things you want to be doing is identifying if you're going to be running under your own plate or if you're going to be taking a carrier plate. Again, this is another option that you can leverage it to somebody else. They will ask you for a payment plan, right? There's going to be a cost to that plate. The cost doesn't go away, but what they do is they're actually going to, give you some payment plans so that it's not one big lump sum at first. So remember, the benefit to that, right, is that let's say you got about $3,000-4,000 left after your startup project, right? You don't really want to deplete half of that into just having your own plate, let's say, because then now you only have let's say $2,000 in cash for incidentals. So let's say you got breakdowns, let's say roadside assistance or anything like that. That is all cash, right? That's all going to cost you money. So in that situation, it might be good for you to leverage that. There is value to buying your own plate because it is yours. So one important thing to understand about carrier plates, guys, they're going to stay with the carrier. You do not get to take that with you. It's one of those things where it's non-transferable. So now you're going to find yourself once again shopping for plates. So those are your two options with there. And again, a lot of guys are, in the comments have mentioned before, hey, to get my own plate, I need the insurance, right? So what Florida would be looking for is that PIP, obviously, and they're looking for the liability insurance and all that good stuff. So you don't need your own insurance and DOT in order to buy your own IRP plate, guys, right? What happens is that when you're filling out the form, it's going to ask you for the company responsible for safety. All right. And there you're going to put our tax ID number, our DOT number, and you're going to give them a copy of the lease, and you're going to give them a copy of the insurance, which has your VIN number on it in the description, the business, and so forth. And with that right there, you're able to get your own plate. And the only thing that's going to happen once you have that cap card, it's going to be on the bottom right hand corner, or they may have moved it on the newer ones, but it's going to say Voyager Nation is responsible for safety. That's it. And so it is your plate. No, you own it. If you make a move, that plate goes with you. You just then have to update who you're actually running under. So then you would just fill out a form, hey, this is the new carrier, this is their tax ID number, this is their DOT, this is the new lease, this is the new insurance, and then that form will get updated for like $10 or something like that, and then you're good to go. Remember, there's other value to having something like this. There is it does exist. There's IRP audits. It's not a good time. I don't wish that upon anybody, but it may happen. So if you're just learning this business, the last thing you want to do is get hit over the head with that. You don't necessarily want to be in that position. Guys, make sure you hit that like button. Share this out with other truckers in your community, CDLs owner or CDL drivers who are thinking about getting that truck. Let them know. Put them on point with the information we're dropping here. Send them over to Super Trucker Podcast. Tons of information over there for you, guys. It keeps these videos coming, and I hope this is helping some people. And if you knew, you knew. If you didn't, now you do. But again, make sure you share this info, guys. Owner operators here, they come here to win, and that's why we have these programs. Anybody who's joining us, they come with the winning attitude, and they have a mission, and we help them get to those goals. All right. Another thing you're going to want to consider, my people, is going to be the permits. There's a lot of permits that exist, and it could be tasking and daunting because you got so much going on. So again, the beauty about leasing onto someone is that it gives you a little bit of breathing room as you get to know your truck. as you get your feet wet, as you are learning the craft, and you're kind of giving major responsibilities to other people to make sure that you win. And as you develop yourself, you could take some of those responsibilities back. And you can do that at your pace so that you make sure that you're successful, right? So now we're talking about the permits. Um, is going to be all right. You got the 2290s that are out there, right? That's a simple one. You can have a company do it for you. You can do it for yourself. Uh, I always recommend you do it for yourself. Part of joining Voyager, we show you how to do that and get that done. And the reason you want to do it for yourself is because then it's in your name and you can always take it with you. And anytime you're either going to buy your own plate or get somebody else's plate, it's going to come up anyway. Guys, you want to make sure that you're getting that. The HUD stickers, the New Mexico, all of that, that's all part of the package deal here. Again, if you're doing that on your own and you've never done it and you're in between loads and now you're on the side of the road trying to fill that out, you just got to know about your capacity. How can you get that done? All right. So as you're learning this craft, know that you would be responsible to that, and why not shift this burden to someone else? Because, for example, we guys that are onboarding with us right away, boom, or they're getting all these permits automatic because I don't even know when he's going to be in New York. I'd rather have it than not have it, and so when he's there, it's non-problem. So he's going to have that ready to go. All right. So the other thing that you're going to leverage, guys, is the IFTA. So the IFTA, once you're doing that, rather than signing up and filling out that record keeping agreement and getting your own and now being responsible, this is a big boy one that you want to leverage out to somebody else, right? Um, because you can and will be audited on this if the numbers don't look right. And usually this can be handled by your carrier who you're leasing onto, and you want to take advantage of that. You want to keep your fuel receipts clean, accurate, the mileage of the logs, all that data has to be kept. It has to be accurate. And I think those miles, man, you have to know for like, you got to keep that for a very long time. 10 years, I want to say. You want to be able to go back that far because you never know when something's coming out to get you. So you want to keep that information for as long as you can. So again, if you're not good at that paperwork and you're looking to leverage that, right here, you're reducing that barrier to entry. It's a lot easier to get started, to have somebody else handle that until you become stronger, and then take it in house and move forward. All right. Um, so even if now all you have to worry about is the deductions on your settlement report, and all that stuff is getting calculated for you, and so forth. Guys, another big piece to this barrier to entry is you don't have to actually even worry about the factoring so much right away. And what I mean by that is a first-time owner operator going out there, he's going to have a lot of moving pieces, right? And now on top of that, he's going to have to negotiate a rate with a factoring company, which is pretty normal, right? But what happens is you have to be able to run credit. You have to be able to, work with the factoring company. You're going to have underpayments. You're going to have all of these things that may come up. There's going to be no buys. So, and what that means is exactly that. If you don't know what that means, you don't want to learn the hard way. So this is the kind of stuff that you want to leverage and put it onto somebody else until you become stronger at actually doing the business. So that's what this is about. What about now you're dealing with the load board. So once we talk about the load board, guys, it's not just about getting a subscription to, let's say, DAT or something like that, right? There's a lot more that comes to that. One of the biggest things that's going to be there is, one, negotiating the rates, right? And that's just the tip of the iceberg, because as you're calling to different brokers, now you connect that with your factoring company. Make sure that you actually are negotiating not only the best rate, but now that they have approved credit, right? And as we dive into this, guys, make sure you like, share, subscribe. Check out our Super Trucker podcast. We teach a bunch of things there too: how to negotiate the loads, how our dispatchers are doing it for you, and the value that that brings to your business. So check out that channel. It's important. Smash the like and make sure you share. And and now we're going, as you're negotiating, you're going to have to actually send carrier packets, right? So what happens? What's the difference? So if you're new to the game and you're sending carrier packets, let's switch caps a little bit. Let's switch that hat. If you are actually a broker and now I'm actually got to cover this load and it's intense, it's high, I'm willing to pay for it, but it's got to go. The problem with somebody being new is as simple as, all right, so now I have to accept your carrier packet and get that going. Other than that, like another already well-established trucking company, that carrier packet's already on file. So that extremely hot load that's paying a lot of money could easily get covered by a phone call from them because they're already on file. So it's not the end of the world for you. But what I am saying is they're going to pick easy street, right? Why complicate it? Pay you premium rate and you're barely sending a carrier packet, from the side of the road. Like, so these are the small things that happen. So now for all my people who have been doing it, it doesn't sound complicated because you've been doing it. However, all my new people that have not been able to do this just yet, it's new to them, so it's complicated because you just never done it. So you want to be able to leverage this to other people. Like that's one of the key points there, right? Also, leveraging, let's say, the dispatch just like that to, let's say, Voyager Nation, and you sign up here. Our guys are always in communication with the owner operator. Tricks of the trade, why we send guys to certain market, how to post a truck, what to say when you're posting a truck, and everything that comes back with that. All that magic sauce right there that happens on a daily basis behind the scenes. You're privy to. You're talking with your dispatcher. You're negotiating. You're learning everything there. As opposed to you've never done this before. You bought a brand new truck, brand new insurance policy, brand new account with DAT. Nobody's got your carrier packets. It's been 30 days. A lot of people aren't even going to touch you because you're so new. You're going to feel a lot less pain probably at that 60 days. It gets a little bit easier. And then you get into your 90 days, it's getting a little easier. But again, it's growing pains, my people. And you would just have to be ready financially. And you would have to expect. So please educate yourself about that because it's important. So again, we're talking about that DAT load board. We're talking about the factoring as well, and those two things, even though they're not really connected, they do go hand in hand, and it's something new that you would have to manage. You're not just looking at, you're not just running miles anymore from like off a PC miler, let's say from point A to point B. There's a lot of things that you can negotiate. Like if you haven't negotiated delivery times, maybe the rate is good, but you have to negotiate that delivery time. So again, you want to leverage that to somebody else because again, yes, you can probably do all of that stuff on your own. However, you got to know your capacity, and are you better off having somebody do it for you so that you reap the benefit and now you're that much stronger? Remember, develop your craft at that, develop that, your skill set, improve your confidence level grows. And then at some point, 1-2 year mark, you could do that bad boy on your own, but you have to learn first. So again, guys, first time owner operators, I know you're excited to jump into the business. And you don't have to spend as much as you think you have to spend. You don't have to do everything on your own right away. You can tailor this bad boy to what your needs are based on your capacity and your strengths, and choose the right medium for you, and you can get started. So again, that's what this topic is about. Make sure just a quick reminder, guys, like, share, and subscribe, and make sure somebody that that needs to hear this, that it falls on their lap. All right, another bad boy that you're gonna have to consider is going to be your ELD. So what's going to happen is a lot of guys are going to call Motive, set up an account, and all that good stuff, right? So now you're going to have to worry about that as well. So why have that additional cost? And when you can leverage this account to somebody that you're leasing onto, right? Because it's going to be a yearly fixed cost. Whether you say I don't want this anymore or not, you're going to sign a contract, and it's going to be it's going to be costly to you. It's just another expense, and sometimes things go wrong with that you have to troubleshoot. So when you're troubleshooting these kind of events, it also means you're not driving, because you're not going to be able to do two things at once. So now the process in itself gets a little bit delayed. So imagine this. Imagine you sign on to Voyager Nation. You're running with us for a little bit, right? You're going to see what ELD we actually use Motive. You're going to see the value of it. You're going to see the compliance team behind you that is actually there to support you, what they do when there is a problem, how they're resolving it. And now that you walk that path along with us, now you're able to now you're growing, getting stronger, getting more knowledgeable, and now you know exactly how to. Now you're going to know exactly how to resolve an issue, because you walk through it with people who know, and you resolve it properly. All right. And again, you get educated on the importance of a clean log. You get having your information, having everything up to date, foreign manner, all that good stuff, PC and all of that. And I know that's for another day, about people, how they feel about PC and yard moves and all that good stuff. That's not what this is about, but this is about getting coached in the proper way, so you're not destroying what you're trying to build. Again, understanding the ramifications that come with those decisions when you do that, where at the moment it seems innocent, but then it ends up being a big problem later on. So you want to be paying attention to that, guys. That's another major one. So when we also talk about is compliance, right? Compliance is going to be a major part of why you should be leveraging a lot of what you're doing to someone else. For example, I'm just kind of sharing a war story. We had an individual coming off of their own authority, had actually 3 drivers, and as we're there, okay, I'm willing to onboard. Everything looks okay, surface level, and my man didn't even have a DQ file on anybody, and it's his first year, and his audit was coming. So DOT does their mandatory first year audit, and this guy had nothing. And so if you don't know what they're coming to look for, how can you prepare? Right. So you have to understand that it's not just about getting that DOT and MC, and now it's smooth sailing. You're going to have things in place, especially if you have planning on having some drivers, and for yourself. So that DQ file is a major thing that they're going to be looking for. You're going to have to be worried about your safety score. You're going to have to be concerned about your inspections. So for example, we just onboarded an individual not too long ago. He had some tints on his windshield. Not the windshield, rather, but the sides, way over spec. So definitely not a service. But educating the individual that, yeah, it looks good, but do you need that attention? Because what comes with that will be the problem. All right. So now you're just a target. And so in a business mindset, right? Like, is that even worth it? Guys, you want to tint that window? Cool, not a problem. But it should be your personal car, man, not your business. You don't need unnecessary attention to you, especially when you know they're looking. So I just believe that that's shooting yourself in the foot. I'm willing to do business, but not like that. So good thing, like we just kind of spoke about it. We showed some examples. The guy was educated and got educated about it and agreed and took those bad boys off because it wasn't worth it. So sometimes you just need a different set of eyes on it, especially people that have been in the game for a long time and been through some shit and have dealt with the ramifications to that. All right. So you want to pay attention to those inspections. What to do after an inspection. So remember, if you've never been an owner operator before and you were a company driver, yeah, you probably had an inspection, someone wrong. Maybe you just kind of sent it over to the safety team. It got handled, and you're not really sure how. Do you have the know-how? Did you learn how to get that handled? Are they even updating you? So now that it's your business, you got to consider that. All right, maybe I'm not ready to take all this on. I need somebody like Voyager to help me out with the compliance and all that. You got the drug test and the randoms, so you got to pay for that MRO who's going to be doing that. So just because it's your own business, it doesn't mean that you're not subject to this. You will have to send yourself on random drug testing and all that good stuff. So again, leveraging these things right over to the carrier is a definite benefit. You got a lot more things to worry about. Proper pre-tripping on the compliance side, running the clearinghouse. Are they running? Are you going to be running your clearinghouse and making sure that there's no issues there? And get over to the pre-trip a little bit, because sometimes guys just kind of whip that pre-trip, right? And nothing kind of ever really happens until you have an audit, or until you're getting put out of service. So a lot of the times you're not really seeing the aftermath of when you're getting that citation. Because the reason I'm saying that is I have a lot of guys who get started and they don't even know what the PSP is. So if there's any people on here that don't know what a PSP is, that's a perfect example as to why you can leverage a lot of this to a carrier, because now you go learning this, right? The way we do it, we educate about it. Guys coming through orientation get a copy of the PSP on the table. Some guys know about it. Some guys have some culture shock and are actually, they didn't even know they had that citation. They didn't even know that happened. And I get it. Some guys knew and they just play that game. But there are genuine guys who just thought a warning's a warning and it was gone, and it turns out it's not. So you want all of this compliance, all of this safety score, all accidents, all of these things will come back to you when it's time to renew that insurance. Again, if you did get your own insurance, these guys are going to be looking at it. They're looking for that reason. How fast are you growing? What's your inspection look like? All of this, and that may cause an up in your rate. If you may even get dropped, and now you don't even have the option to pay more, and now you're getting dropped. So now you don't even have a choice to stay in business. Again, as you're getting stronger, as you're learning the ins, guys, this is a key point why you should be leveraging this portion of your business to someone else, and so forth. All right. So another thing that we want to talk about, guys, is let's say equipment. All right. So you just got started, you just bought your truck, so you dipped into that savings account. It's not looking as healthy as it did the day before. Um, and now, what type of equipment are you hauling? So we provide trailers, right? You want to probably leverage that to somebody, right? It starts to come down to this. Can you go buy a trailer? Let's say you can. That's great, but nobody is taking away your purchasing power. Put that in your back pocket. And the reason you want that in your back pocket is because you still have a lot to learn. You still have a lot to be exposed to. You still have a lot of experiences that you have to go through. So by putting that purchasing power in your back pocket, what you're actually allowing yourself to do is minimize the probability of something going wrong, because it is trucking and trucking will happen. It's just a matter of how you're going to handle it. So imagine this: you buy a trailer, you now have a cost to that trailer. What year is that trailer? Because if it's too old, even though it was a really good deal, now you're getting rejected. And now that snowballs into loads because your trailer is too old. So can you even make the reload? Second, the maintenance on that trailer, right? So now an older trailer is going to require a lot more love than a brand new trailer. So you really want to minimize the probability of things that are going wrong. Let's say that is your one and only trailer. So let's say you do break down. Now you have to mitigate, or now you have to handle, you know, uh, your actual breakdown. And if you're loaded, now you got to deal with the broker. How fast do they want it? Are they trying to repower it? So all of these things that are going to happen to you, you want to be able to shift that over to somebody different, so that now you have access to plenty of quality equipment. And that's one less thing that you have to worry about. Imagine this: you do 6 months of that, you now know your truck. You now worked out all the things out with your truck. So now it's in good standing. You got to know your truck, and now you can go buy your own trailer. And you can do that based on a business decision, right? Now you can calculate, hey, how much have I been making? All right, I now know the price of insurance of my trailer. I know now my monthly payment of this trailer. I know it will cost me X in order to have this equipment, is to own this equipment, and I'm making, and I'm making this amount of money minus X. If it's in the red, don't do it. If it's enough to that it's worth it, then you go ahead and make that leap. So the idea behind it is, don't do it right away. Why, if you have purchasing power, what's the rush? Put that bad boy in your back pocket and get to be a little, become successful. Um, so you have that to consider, guys. Remember, maintenance on your truck is one of the key focuses there. So again, there are a lot of carriers that offer that maintenance programs where you're putting away some money, and this just depends on your due diligence. We offer it to our guys where they're actually putting away some money every single week, building that maintenance account so that when something does go wrong, because like we said before, it's just a matter of time, there's something right there, ready for them to have access to it 24/7, and now they can actually use it on their repair. So guys, you have to plan for that. You have to have that maintenance fund available. If you have self-discipline to do that, then go ahead and do that, but you should pay your truck first before anything, because that maintenance is that silent killer that you never plan ahead. Like, it's gonna come, but yeah, a lot of people don't budget for it, and then it becomes a major problem. And we don't want to see anybody getting hurt on that. All right, but guys, again, make sure if this is useful information and is kind of opening up some ideas for you as you were planning to become an owner operator first time, and you got buddies in the business going through the same situation as you, make sure you like, share, subscribe, send them over to that YouTube channel. We're live at 9 a.m. Pretty much every day. And, this information hopefully helps you, will most definitely help them. So please help this information get out to the trucking community and, and spread the word. Okay. So here we go. Another major thing that you do want to consider, as you're moving along with this, is going to be your fuel, right? So now, if you're doing it for yourself, you're upfronting fuel. So leveraging to an owner, to a carrier, is going to give you access to fuel cards. And why that's a beautiful thing for you is because it comes with savings. So a lot of what we do here is effective for the owner operators. So we're providing two different fuel cards. I don't know anybody else who's doing that. But what we do is we provide two fuel cards. They're both active simultaneously. And the reason for that is because they can go between the two fuel cards. They're toggling between the two. And what that it allows them to do is actually pick the one that has more aggressive savings. As a matter of fact, I'm going to do a video just on that. I just got to prep it, get all the information and screen share and all that good stuff, blocking information. But it's going to show you actually the amount of money that guys can save if they're paying attention to their app. And the beauty about that, my people, is that is straight from the bottom line. That is straight to your pocket. So you want to be paying attention to those fuel cards. You want to have the apps. You want to route plan on them. You want to study that because it will make a difference. It's an easy $300 to $400 a week. And you can do the math on that. And that is straight to your bottom line. So again, doing it for yourself, right? Are you going to be seeing the same advantages as what a carrier can offer you? And again, it's about savings for you at that point, right? And I know some guys do like credit cards and they'll do the miles, and they have a setup already. But again, guys, it's you fronting that bill. And then again, how that can snowball is you're paying that bill up front, and when it's time to pay the bill, you now see that you have your factoring company sent you a check that's $1,000 less because you had a couple underpayments, and now you're worried about that. So guys, you want to be paying attention to these perks that will definitely help you out. Another thing is a lot of guys get some trucks, and actually, depending on what part of Florida, don't have a place to park. What we do is we offer free parking for all our owner operators. You want to be able to tackle that because either A, that's going to cost you some money. I don't know, an average 150 a month or something like that. I mean, not if you're in Miami. That's going to be a lot more than that. Um, but that's going to have a cost to you. So can you leverage that cost to somebody else, right? And what kind of perks do these people have? So, for example, we got the mechanic on site. So now that allows that guy to take a look at your truck while you're out there, while you're doing your 34, let's say, with some home time, just to do a preventive walk around on that truck to kind of give you some heads up on what might be coming, like failing soon or anything like that. Again, it's a leverage that you can use for your business to be successful, right? Because as you're doing it on your own, you're gonna have to be paying attention to that. So even though you're home on a 34, now, hey, drop it off to the mechanic, hey, give it a good look around and so forth. And it's just one more perk that you have under your belt again as you get stronger. So to recap it, right? You can get into this without doing everything. Just have to make a couple decisions and plan it accordingly. So if you're in that position that you're buying that truck and you are planning or you are planning to do your own thing as a full blown authority and do it all, but you've never really done it before, consider this option: leasing onto a carrier. Regardless of what you've heard out there, it's not just about owning everything, because that also means you own all the responsibility that comes to that. Yes, yeah, yep. Not safe to park in Miami. I agree with that, and so does the insurance company. Because guys, like as you're gonna learn, anybody getting some quotes, you getting quoted out of Lakeland or Mulberry, the mecca of trucking, is very different. That quote will look very different than if you're out of Miami. That's for sure. For sure on that. Um, so going back to it, guys, the number one thing you want to do is find out your sweet spot. What should you be leveraging out, right? So you got your truck, run under somebody else's insurance your first year. Makes you stronger. All right. So that cost is no longer on you. And now you're focusing on your truck, making sure, you're working out the things. If it breaks down, all the kinks, everything, how you're ironing it out and getting to know your truck a little bit more. Right. Now you're gonna now worry about IRP. You can actually keep that in house or leverage it and get it through, have somebody else work the back office to that. So now you have that piece as well. Now you got the load boards and the dispatch. Company, a carrier just like this that are very efficient and effective at it, where the dispatching is all about communication and the relationship. You actually get to learn why we move you in a certain way. What's the goal? So based on the goal is how we move. Not just because we like a certain area and we just cross our fingers and we hope it's going to pay at some point. And now you got several people looking at how you should run and how to move you, right? So now you can leverage that out there, because again, if you've never done it, then the learning curve to learn how to do that is going to cost you money. So it'll cost you money along with everything else that's on top of you right now: the insurance, your own trailer, uh, cargo insurance as well. So not just your truck insurance, cargo insurance, all of that. $3,000 knocking on your door every single month, no matter what, that has to get paid, whether you run or don't run, whether you got stuck on the load and you sat on it for a few days because trucking happens, that bill is coming. So if you're not financially ready for that, that's where you have to take advantage of this leasing on to companies like Voyager Nation. That's actually the best one, and leveraging your cost. So again, so now we're going back to that. You want to be able to leverage out the IFTA. Again, that's part of the permits and all of that stuff. But again, the managing of it, making sure you're in compliance, because again, you don't want to be audited on that. You don't want your IFTA closed, because that will shut down your IRP for renewal. So all of these things do end up being connected, and you don't want to get stuck where now you can't renew a registration because you didn't properly fill out some kind of simple paperwork because you were busy handling everything else and you just got overwhelmed, and now your business is at a standstill until it gets resolved. and you're taking a field trip to Tallahassee to resolve it. So guys, you want to learn all of this in an environment where people are showing you how to handle it, right? So that's another major one right there. Um, and again, we talked about the permit and then the factoring, right? You're gonna get a settlement check every single week. So now that's consistent and coming along. You're learning how to send in the paperwork. So you got to pay attention to why our billing department will be asking you for better copies. Will be asking you for this BOL, for this, for that. Sometimes they need pieces to come back quicker than other times. And some guys view it as a nuisance, and really what's driving that is the raycon. Because if you're not reading that raycon and everything that is required, then you might find yourself getting a lot of deductions, man. I have seen where these raycons are so predatory, that it comes back to bite you. So imagine that. Imagine you thought you were doing a $1,200 load on 500 miles, and not because you didn't send it within an hour, $100 for that. Because you didn't call the broker twice, they're banging you over the head for $50, $50 for that. And now all of a sudden, that $1,200 load, based off of that menu that they gave you, and you didn't really read it or pay attention to it, you're now getting 900 bucks. So that's not even the same load that you agreed upon, but you just did not read the raycon. So again, the billing department is there to help you read that, make sure that you're in compliance and upholding that portion of it. The dispatcher is reading that raycon and making sure that if they're not willing to change that predatory information on there, get it off of there. If they're not, we're going on to the next load because it's just not worth it, right? If it says tracking and you didn't track, that's another one that they're going to hit you over the head. So again, you're not only that, you're in the truck, 14-hour clock is ticking, canceled load, raycons, all of that. It takes a minute to get used to that. It takes a minute to perfect your craft at that. And so if you have not done that, my people, if you don't know how to dispatch, you should definitely not be thinking of doing it all on your own. You should be thinking about educating yourself and improving your craft to for you to get that done. All right. And the perfect thing is, I think the magic part is to actually find the carrier, just like Voyager Nation, where you could actually partner up and be part of the process. You're not just it's not about that just forced dispatching and then that's it, because there's BS customer freight. So that's not what the program's about. What you want to be doing is open-minded, talking about why you're going to certain markets, finding out why you should be going to those markets, and getting educated. Um, all right. So some of the questions, we can start recruiting that. All right. I mean, answering them, I apologize. Can you see your own PSP? Yeah, absolutely. You can. You have access to that. Go to your deal. Go to FMCSA. There's a portal there. I can actually, who's ever interested, actually send me that in the comments. I'll send you the link to the site, and you can actually check on your PSP. You actually want to be checking on that bad boy periodically, just because you never know what may be on there that doesn't belong to you, and you want it off, because anybody who's onboarding, that's all visible. So you want to be able to to catch that and get it off your record. So there you go. You may need the help of the carrier to data queue something, or you might be able to just handle it on your own, depending on the situation. What's the best DoD to use out there? Um, I find Motive pretty easy. I've heard some good things about Samsara. I'm not a big fan of that PeopleNet. I don't even know if they're still around or anything like that. But I kind of like that Motive. It's easy to plug and play. So that keeps it easy. Downloads it right to your phone. So as long as you're driving out there and you have a phone mount, make sure that's up on the dashboard. Or some of my guys just have a separate tablet just for that. Um, so I think that one's pretty good. Other than that, they're pretty much all the same. Um, but no complaints there. I've had good experiences with them. On the customer service side, a little bit different, but that's for another day. But for as far as the use of the driver, the user interface with it, pretty easy to go. So that's not bad. Um, Majority benefits leasing to a carrier. You can't survive on the low boards right now. Uh, so a good customer base is a major benefit to leasing to a carrier. You don't have to. You can't survive on the low boards right now. Yeah, I think you can. I got plenty of guys who are making it, and they're doing it very, very well. Now the idea behind it is you got a strong team and leveraging relationships. So the relationships is business that we've done with certain brokers for such a long time, dedicated reps, getting phone calls prior to something even making the load boards. So if I am privy to that at our fleet count, then imagine what other people are doing, right? So based on volume, but those relationships is what helps you excel, and part of that relationship getting the premium rate is going to be because we can show up on time, because we can fix problems. So part of fixing a problem, it doesn't mean that, we're being rational. So if there is a breakdown, walking the customer through that, educating the broker, hey, this is what happened, sending the repair bill, right? I don't have to show him that, but in this industry, there's a lot of people that don't. So now I'm different. All right. And now he's seeing like, all right, cool. Not a lot of people do this right here. And now he's willing to work with me a little bit more, that he understands that our mutual goal is to get that product delivered. The last thing I want is for him to try to repower that load. Um, and the only way I can manage that is by keeping him in the loop and massaging that through that process. So going back to what the question was, you could definitely make it. You just have the right dispatchers, right team, chasing and hunting that money. And even if something got canceled, go get it. You're going to see things that pay. They're going to look at different scenarios through the process of how we move a truck. You got to risk it. You have to be on the edge, man. You cannot play it too safe on the spot market. That's for sure. You should not come to the spot market for complaciveness or for like a dedicated land. None of that. That's you come in here for money, and I think you can win. It's just a matter of getting that done. Do I need my own corporation to be an owner operator? No, you don't. You don't actually have to do that. I'm not your tax guy. I'm not a lawyer. There's different ways you can do it. Some people can incorporate. Some people do LLCs. It is recommended, but you don't have to. You don't necessarily have to have it set up that way. But I say, why not, right? And that's the other beauty about onboarding with somebody like us. We'll walk you through that process as well. Hey, how do you get that done? But again, we're not tax people. We're not any of that. But again, like, do you need to? No, you don't need to have a corporation to be an owner operator. So here we go on that. We are possible if you like something. All right. So I'm going to invite everybody to please give us a call after this. We're there to answer that call. Please I'm inviting you to please put the comments below, send us emails, any other topics that you think may be valuable to the trucking community for people to have success. We're willing to cover them. It keeps these videos coming. It keeps information getting put in front of the right people, because the more you know, the better success rate you are going to have. And again, like, share, subscribe. That's what keeps it going. And please, any future topics, any experiences that you may have that we can cover and we can all learn from, please email them to us. We'll put that email in the description, and also go to Super Trucker Podcast. Make sure you subscribe. Check out our videos there. There's a ton of videos, tons of information that you can go through, and make sure you forward that to someone else. Back to the comments. Factoring is a biggie. Yeah, for sure. Luna says hi. What's up, Luna? That's my girl, man. So for those who haven't met her, All right, my people. Well, that brings this live to an end. I hope that this helped. And again, if there's anyone with additional information or anybody who is exploring the opportunity to possibly lease on before you do your own thing, give me a call, 863-342-5171. I'll be by the phone after this. We'll talk personally, and I'll get you all the information necessary that you need to make the right decision. Again, we're here to help out. My people, be safe, drive safe. We will talk soon, and keep trucking. Oh, man. I gotta get better at it.
You know, I used to laugh.
What?
You do.
Did mine? Sorry, dudes.